So sorry, but I'm not taking off my glass.
Lockyer takes a shot, it's low! He's got it! I think he's got it!
Merlin, are you going to speak?
But for me, it was a winner. David.
Well, I'm afraid it wasn't for me, Margaret.
Thank God you're here. Grandma's been raped.
On. Welcome back to On the Air Tonight, the number one podcast that reviews free-to-air content. I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
Slightly less hungover than last week.
Yeah, but just spread out across the two of us.
Yeah, it's the same amount of alcohol that was put away, but just spread across two bodies now.
Yeah, I had none last week. You had a lot, and then last night we both had a moderate amount.
Yeah.
So we're sweet.
It was like a tenth of a soul last week, and now it's a 20th of a tenth of a soul across two vessels.
Yeah. So I'm feeling like it's gonna be a killer episode, dude.
Oh mate, we're firing.
No, we're probably compensating a little bit, saying how good we feel because there are some demons we're fighting, but
yeah,
we will get there.
Positive reinforcement.
And follow the socials as well. Follow On the Air Tonight on Instagram. You get behind the scenes curated content made for OTAT listeners by OTAT. Check it out.
That's it, mate. Yeah, you're looking for a third. For OTAT listeners, by OTAT, it's OTAT.
Tune in. You can see all the things that we've referenced in this 1 hour recording. If 1 hour of listening to our dribble a week isn't enough, go check out the socials and you can see things like Violent Soho concerts, Jacob in a dress,
Tom wearing a shit hard hat. Not a shit hard hat, but looking shit in a nice hard hat.
Ruining the hard hat by how shit he looked.
This guy's never been on a work site a day in his life.
Get the trademark hard hat on. So last night we just had a few drinks round at one of our mates' places.
Yeah, so we called him Boat Boy last week, but he said, like, did you call me Mick Bin Chicken Footy? That's what his nickname wants to be on the show. So Mick Bin Chicken Footy's house.
Cal, Mick Bin Chicken Footy.
You've taken...
I've dead named him.
You've taken Clark Kent's glasses off.
Oh no. If you want to be called that, man, all you have to do is leave that as your name on the review, not Went around to his house last night and had a couple of drinks.
Yeah, we knew we were like, all right, we've got to be in the studio. We were like, firstly, Tom was like, I've got to be down the coast. So what do you reckon, 9 a.m.? I was like, all right, mate. We're playing this game. Make it 5.
Let's go now.
Yeah. Put your beer down.
6 beers there. Come on. So things got a bit weird because we were playing Piccolo and then...
There was truth or dare involved.
And Jake got dared to wear one of Sarah's dresses.
Mm-hmm. And like everyone was like, yeah, do it. And Sarah just like had a moment. She's like, is there anything... Sarah's probably like 5'4", 5'5". So she's like, is there anything I want this 6'4" behemoth ruining?
Just
is it
stretch.
Anything that I'm just okay with getting absolutely trashed?
Found one thing.
Play suit. Same design as what Tom's wearing, like a black and white horizontal striped shirt. If you're not watching but listening, and yeah, it's meant to accentuate the curves, and it definitely did. It showed what I'd cultivated during COVID, just a big fat beer gut.
It's a thing of beauty.
Yeah,
sight to behold. Oh, yeah, I was just gonna say my pressure points are feeling.
Oh yeah, I woke up this morning. I was like, I gave Tom a fucking good workout last night, just digging my thumb into his trapped, his neck. Just
Well, it started. I was wearing a rugby jersey, a rugby jersey.
Yeah, that's right.
And I was like, and you just started roasting me about like, hey, nice fucking jersey. I was like, what?
Have you ever played footy in your life?
And I was like, I play footy, man. I play footy right now. You're like, no, you don't. Look at your frame. And I'm like, fuck. So Jake has to fucking assert himself. Comes over and just starts squeezing my pressure points on my shoulders.
At first I got you like in the shoulder blade, and you're like holding, you like, stop.
I was tensing. I was just like, yeah, I can take it.
Yeah, and then I was just like, oh, all right, let's work further up. And you're just like, fuck off.
I slapped your hand away.
And then I just like got you, just like grabbed your knee and just squeeze in there. You know that dickhead at school that would just give you, I think Americans call them Charlie horses, just corky, just give you a muscle spasm, just punch you right in the thigh.
Yeah, it was just you fucking digging your fucking giant hand, giant thumbs into my pressure points. I was like, how fucking old are we?
Big sausage fingers into your meat.
Get off. And then we started fighting about who was stronger, and we're like, well, yeah, we'll arm wrestle.
Yeah.
We'll arm wrestle at some point.
You were just like, God, it just pisses me off that I go to the gym way more than you. And I was like, yeah, you go once and that's more than me, man.
Yeah.
And you were like, but I could just never beat you at an arm wrestle. I was just like, yeah, should we put a show on for the people right now?
No, I don't. I resent the implication that I said I could never beat you in an arm wrestle. That's not true.
It is true.
I didn't say that, and I would never say it because it's not true.
You did say that you'd never beat me in an arm wrestle.
No, dude, that doesn't sound like me.
Just-
Even drunk me.
Mate, that play suit was doing things to you. You opened up like Pandora's box last night.
I was like, oh my God, I'm lost in the honesty of those baby blues.
His balls are hanging out on him. I need to tell the truth.
Yeah, I saw your testes for the first time last night. I didn't need that in my life.
Sight to
The
behold.
play suit was already so fucking tight around your sack. Showing me way too much.
Yeah, I need to liberate myself.
And then he gets up to grab a drink and he's
Just turn around.
hasn't said anything. He's
Hey,
just
guys.
and his fucking nuts are just hanging out the side. And I'm like,
Tom's like, oh,
like Jacob,
I've never seen balls before.
put it away. All your other mates are like, yeah, seen this before.
Yeah,
I've known him longer than you have, Tom.
that's Jacob after 2 beers. Just
And you get behind me, and then I just hear this fucking just farts right in my face. So I'm like, so in the space of 5 seconds, you've just blown a brown fart again in my fucking face.
I've exposed myself and just insulted your senses.
Like, why do I hang out with you, bro? This is awful.
Because we're 22 episodes deep and we're on to ep 23, baby.
So hang around. OTAT law. One day we'll get an arm wrestle live on the show.
Yes.
Give me a couple months when I feel confident. Like I could beat you right now. I reckon.
We'll do it.
We're not going to do it. That'll be like an episode 50 operation, but I could beat you right now.
We'll put it
just
up
so
on the
you know.
we'll put it up on the Insta story.
No, it'll be premium content. This is for Patreon users, dude.
Okay. Well,
OTAT arm wrestling.
we're still going to record it today.
No. We're not going to do it for ages, bro. This is law. This is something that people are going to hang around for. When we get to like 500k viewers, that's when we arm wrestle.
Righto, champ.
I can tell this is what the people want.
Oh, we get to 200 people first.
When we get to that,
Relax.
then the arm wrestle will come out. But just so you know, that's the only reason I'm not arm wrestling you now. It's not because I don't think I could beat you. I could beat you right now.
Oh, it's a content thing.
It's a content thing.
Yeah,
The show's not ready for it. I am. The show's not ready for it.
We know we've got something in hot supply that's in high demand, and we're just going to hold off before we release it to the masses.
If you're good at doing something, you don't do it for free.
Yep. And if you're shit at something, you defer with bullshit excuses.
Yeah, but that's not me.
Righto.
That's not what I'm doing.
Right.
I could just so you know, I could beat you.
Okay, champ.
Okay.
All right. We'll
I
see
just
about
want
that.
you to know, yeah.
Don't think you could. Just death staring me.
Sorry.
This is peak performance. You may not like what it looks like.
This is what peak performance looks like.
Just two hungover dudes arguing. I could arm wrestle. This is literally Gabe hammer on hammer action right now. Just us. I could beat you. I could beat you.
Couple of Neanderthals. But I could. But that's all right. We don't have to prove it right now. I'll save you the embarrassment for at least another 30 episodes.
This is like arguing with a child. They're just like, I can run faster than you. I'm like, I'm not gonna race you because I'd burn you. But I just I'm comfortable in the fact knowing I'm just twiddling my thumbs. Like, yeah,
Okay. That's all right. You can think that. You can be wrong if you want.
that's fine. It's ignorance is bliss.
Head in the sand.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
That's how I live my life.
You like living in a universe where you haven't been beaten by me in an arm wrestle.
Yes, and I like even more living in a universe where we get a sparkling review from our resident fan, part Australian, part Chinese, every week.
Another week, another review.
Yeah, I mean, we need something after getting one dislike.
Yeah, we have haters. We made it.
We made it!
The hate train.
That's when you know you've actually made it in the world, is when someone's gone,
Not into it.
not for me.
It's all these Alaskan bush people fiends. So we didn't realize that Alaskan bush people has like a massive cult following.
Yeah.
Listen to last week's episode. Great show, great content. And apparently one of the best podcasts we've done according to Part Australia, according to the people.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. We have one review, but it's representative of our whole fan base's opinion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He speaks for the masses.
Dad does a survey. He does a bit of a census. Sorry, part Australian, part Chinese. Still
Dad.
don't know who he is.
Give it up, dude.
He does a bit of a survey monkey every week, and he's like, what do we think this week? Collates everyone's thoughts and then leaves a review on YouTube. So our fans thought this week, best podcast in this series. Great material with the Alaskan bush people. The boys make it sound so much fun. I'm a little scared to watch the actual TV show and be disappointed. This podcast is going from strength to strength. Keep it coming.
Let's go.
That's so good.
Mother's Day? Nah. How about Dad's Day?
How about Papa's Day?
Yeah.
How about two Father's Days?
Pap's Day.
Pap Day. A national part Australian, part Chinese holiday.
We'll make that's our first movement once we hit the big time is putting in a petition to have our own public holiday for part Australian, part Chinese.
We get the ear of ScoMo, and that's the first thing we do.
No, it's not for people who have immigrant parents. No.
It's for OTAT reviews. It's not for strengthening the international relationship of China and Australia. No.
This is all work, okay? No play.
Yeah, this is leisure.
Yeah, cheers, Pap. We really like that. And it was
Keep them coming.
Yeah, absolutely. If you like the show, leave us a review. Follow us on the socials, as Tom has said. But this week we've got a very special episode for you. We actually Tom did a written review for this program. In the very early days of on the air tonight.
We were still kind of figuring out what the fuck was going on.
Yeah, we were still too nice to each other. So, how was your day? Yeah, good. What are we watching this week?
And also just like chugging 3 bottles of red to to record one episode.
Yeah, get our Dutch courage amongst us.
Back in the drunk days. If you're a long-term listener and you've been around since Australian Story, A, I praise you for sticking
around this long.
And B, you might have seen the review for Bone Tomahawk on Instagram.
Oh, Bone Tomahawk.
Baby. So we watched, this is our groundbreaking episode. We're watching a film. We've watched a film. We're reviewing a film.
Yes. We used to review stuff when we were drunk, and now we're reviewing stuff when we're hungover.
How far we've come.
Full circle.
Is it too much of a stretch to say we're basically David and Margaret?
I think so.
That's a stretch. Okay. All right.
It's
review more than one movie, and then we can.
It's not for me, Tom.
Take the mantle. It's not for me. David, it's not for me. Fuck, let's bicker. Let's get old and bigger.
Just gotta have 20 more cigarettes so I can get that real Margaret
Yes,
Winnie Red.
That Pomerantz husk.
Oh, God.
Oh, she's so leathery.
Looks about 400 at the age of 50.
Love it a bit, but yes, point is, we are Margaret and David. We review films now. On the Air Tonight is basically picked up by the ABC at this point.
Yes. Yeah. We just need to stop swearing so much so we get that little explicit button removed from our episodes.
Yeah, Margaret and David we're like the explicit M&D. The explicit, we're the E, M, and D.
The middle shelf Hamish and Andy, the explicit Margaret and David. It's your boys, Tom and Jake.
We found our tagline. 23 episodes in.
That's good. Yeah, welcome back. It's the mid-shelf Hamish and Andy.
Mid-shelf Hamish and Andy, explicit Margaret and David, less funny Chris Lilly.
It sounds like, hey. Except we're nicer to girls.
Is he coming to a bit of hot water?
Chris D'Elia.
No, Chris Lilly.
Chris Lilly. I thought you said, my bad. I just computed that as D'Elia. Yeah. No, Lily's just...
We're talking Aussie content.
No, he just got he got Me Too, didn't he?
Chris Lilly or Chris D'Elia?
Not Me Too. What's the just like
cancelled?
Yeah, he got cancelled. That's the word.
Oh, he got blackfaced for Smouse.
Blacklisted for blackface.
Blacklisted for blackface. Yeah. But all jokes aside, we are Margaret and David. We watched Bone Tomahawk this week.
Yes, Bone Tomahawk. You may be asking us, what's that? It's a special on SBS On Demand, a film by the one and only Craig Zahler.
Madman.
Absolute madman.
S. Craig Zahler. He's one of those guys who's just like, has a letter for a first name. S. Craig Zahler.
I'm reading that on his Wikipedia page. Is that short for something? Is it like Sam or?
Yeah, it must be like Steven, but he's like, nah, fuck that. It's too long.
Yeah,
I prefer my middle name Craig.
I gotta have some weird gimmick if I'm gonna set myself apart from Spielberg. It's Spielberg Craig Zahler.
Spielberg Craig Zahler. He's like, I'm going into film. Maybe I should shorten that. Like Michael B. Jordan had to throw the B in there because he's like, fuck, I'm a black guy named Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Coming up against it here.
Yeah,
Big shoes to fill.
Absolutely. Yeah, you just setting. His parents are just like, "Yep, we're gonna fucking set the bar real high for you.
Yeah,
hope you can jump like Mike."
Yeah, dude. And I'm not going to play basketball at all. He's like, there's
He's like
no
5'8".
point.
Yeah.
Oh, is he? Yeah.
I think he's. Oh, I don't
all
know.
Americans are short, bro. Every single American is like average, like 5'3". Bone Tomahawk. What is it?
Bone Tomahawk. So, in the Old West, a sheriff played by Kurt Russell and his deputy Richard Jenkins, a gunslinger Matthew Fox, and a cowboy Patrick Wilson embark on a mission to rescue 3 people from a savage group of cave dwellers.
Fuck me. Does that not sound like the best fucking film of all time?
Definitely the greatest Western.
Easily the greatest Western of all time.
Yeah.
Easily the greatest modern Western of all time.
Absolutely.
No questions asked.
I don't think there's that many Westerns around. I mean, is it True Grit's out there?
The thing is, I wouldn't even call it a true Western. It's kind of like a genre bending Western.
Yes.
It's not a traditional Western in the sense of a gunslinger and then he goes and saves the girl.
Fistful of dollars.
Yeah, this is... Okay, so I've been thinking about how we're going to approach this episode because most of the shit we watch doesn't really matter if you've seen it or not. We just spoil the whole thing and talk about it throughout the whole... We go, this happened at the start, this happened in the middle, this happened at the end.
Yes.
I almost want to treat this as a spoiler review of the movie.
Oh, absolutely. I did have this thought when we were watching is like, there's going to be stuff we spoil for people. So I would recommend, this is probably the one thing where it's like, if you actually do watch any of the shows we recommend, I'd recommend you give Bone Tomahawk a watch. Guarantee you will enjoy it before listening to this.
Go and I implore you to go and watch Bone Tomahawk. Of any of the shit that we watch, we're like, yeah, check out Come Dine With Me. It's like, bruh, watch Bone Tomahawk with Kurt Russell. It's such a good film. If you've got, it's hard to, when someone tells you to watch a film and they really tell you to watch it, and you're just like, shut up.
You're flogging a dead horse at this point.
Yeah, like I feel like the more that I tell you to go and fucking watch it, the less that you will want to.
You're
'cause
deterred.
It's annoying. It's like you got to watch Breaking Bad, bro. You have to watch Breaking Bad.
It's so good.
And you hear it from everyone. You're like, I'm not fucking watching Breaking Bad. This isn't like that.
Nah.
Go and watch Bone Tomahawk and then listen to us talk about it.
You can find it on SBS On Demand.
Yep.
You will have to cop a couple of commercials, but they place them pretty well where it doesn't break the suspension of disbelief too much.
It's pretty good. If you don't care at all, still listen to the episode and just have us spoil it and then maybe go and watch it afterwards. But I would recommend going to this without knowing anything and just going along for the ride.
Yeah.
Because fuck me.
So give yourself we're going to give you just a moment to turn this podcast off your Bluetooth speakers that you're playing around the office.
Yep.
Wherever you're listening to it, we're going to give you an opportunity to pause because from this point on, we will be saying stuff throughout the movie that will spoil it.
Yeah. So if your favorite part of the episode is before we get to any content and it's just dribble.
You can turn off and go review now.
Yeah. You can that part is over. No more dribble, pure content.
Yeah.
Pure film review and Bone Tomahawk spoiling.
So what did you think of Bone Tomahawk, Tomo?
So good.
Clearly, we gave people a strong recommendation before we even reviewed of like, go fucking watch this thing.
Like, honestly, after we turned it off, we'd both seen it before.
Yeah.
And we were like, we should watch this for the show. It's easily the best film on SBS On Demand for free. After we turned it off, we were like, that's so fucking good. We were like, that was such a good movie. You know, when you finish a film, you're just like, fuck, that's good.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
It's definitely not for the weak of stomach, I would say.
No. It's brutal. It's Kurt Russell as a sheriff in the West. Listen to this fucking cast and tell me you don't want to watch this. If you're listening at this point, you have seen it.
Yes.
Kurt Russell, Richard Jenkins, Matthew Fox in the fucking on their horses in a Western quest.
It took me, yeah, absolutely. And they play their characters so well. It took me until halfway through the second time and you telling me, oh, that's Richard Jenkins. That's the dad from Step Brothers. So if you watch it and you don't know who the old deputy is, Chicho, what's his name?
I can't remember his character's
Chikaro or something like that.
Yeah. Richard Jenkins, character actor, dad from Step Brothers. Hilarious most of the time. So you've got Dick Jenkins, dad from Step Brothers, Jack from Lost, Matthew Fox,
Yep.
and fucking Kurt Russell, the GOAT of the Thing fame and everything.
And then Night
Big
Owl.
Trouble in Little China.
Yeah. And then Night Owl from Watchmen.
Yeah, and Paddy Wilson. Yeah,
Yeah,
fuck, I
you
forgot about
forgot
him.
about him,
Fuck,
yeah.
I forgot about Paddy Wilson.
Yeah. A crippled Patrick Wilson.
Yeah, crippled Patrick Wilson. Or the guy from The Conjuring.
Yes. Yeah.
All of those films.
That's something you might have seen him from.
He's one of those actors where it's like you know you're like, oh, that guy, but you don't know his name. You know his face, but not his name.
Correct. But as soon as you Google it, you're like, oh, yeah, I've seen him in plenty of stuff.
Oh, handsome male American actor.
Yeah, generic, just stock, handsome Hollywood guy.
Yep. So it's these boys going on a mission to get someone who's been kidnapped from the town back.
Yeah. So we're going to give you like a little play-by-play and then talk about our favorite points in the movie, just because I wrote down notes of just trying to keep like a very, very vague timeline of it. First couple of things I wrote down was obviously Western, not for the faint of heart. Shattering score. So it's a theme. Sorry to cut you off, but it's a theme throughout Zala's movies. He's also done Dragged Across Concrete and Brawl in Cell Block 99.
We don't want to overload you with Zala films, but go and check out all of these as well.
They are great.
Fucking unreal.
And the common theme throughout the movies is that there's little to no actual soundtrack or score in it.
Yeah.
So it's all based on the sound effects and the Foley artists, what they're able to do.
It's the score in this is almost non-existent, sparingly used. I think
there's 3 parts where they have a little bit of music to like build, like it's almost like they use the 3 times that they use the music is just to show the time it takes to travel, because they travel a far distance to go rescue these 3 people that have been taken by troglodytes, which is an inbred group of Native Americans that rape and eat their own mothers. That's no hyperbole.
That's the villain we're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
That's who Kurt's going up against. These psychos.
Yep.
I think I was saying to you last night, it's very Game of Thrones-esque. You've seen Game of Thrones,
yes.
right? Yeah. So remember Game of Thrones, like the first scene in the whole show is Night Walkers.
Yeah.
And then you don't see them for like 4 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
The first scene in Bone Tomahawk is the villains. Is like you get a glimpse of the troglodytes.
Yeah.
Of the enemy that they're up against, and then you don't see them until we get to them in the third act.
They show very small parts.
Teases it, yeah.
It's almost like the enemy that you can't see, which is like a good sign of any horror film, where they show glimpses of what the enemy might be, but it's still the unknown.
And fuck, these are so scary.
Yeah.
These cunts.
Terrifying. It's like, so it opens with 2 bandits. They're killing like these people who are set up at a campsite, slitting their necks and like taking all their stuff. And like they one of them like shoots one that the other bandit didn't kill properly, and they can hear horses galloping from the distance, and they're like, fuck, that's horses. We are done.
And then they kind of scatter away from them, take their shit. The guy tries to take his hat.
Yeah, just like, yeah, I'm going to try a new hat. Nah, fuck this.
Yeah, a little Easter egg. There's that little fucking Zala moment. He's like, yeah, try his hat on. It doesn't fit. Put your own hat back on.
You're going back to the shitty bandit hat. Yeah.
Love that.
And then they just hear this like wailing across the distance, and like one of them's like, what's that? It's like, it's just the wind. What is it? He says something clever about it. He's like, the wind's got like a harmony or something like.
Yeah, the guy's just telling shitty jokes the whole time. And he's like, save your jokes for around the campfire.
Yeah, exactly
Something
right.
like that, yeah.
Can we get to safety first, dude?
Yeah,
Like,
this guy's just like riffing as he's fucking running away from...
we've got the sheriff on our tail. We just murked a couple of prospectors.
He's just like making jokes about, the wind and like, I can't remember, something in his like loot. Or like the guy didn't have any like whiskey in his canteen or something like that.
Yeah.
He's just telling off-color jokes, and the guy's like, can you shut the fuck up and get focus on surviving right now?
What'd you find? Bunch of books. Fucking burn them. Just don't burn the Bible. He's like, I won't. Some idiot in town will buy them. They always buy Bibles. So it's set up in like frontier America, probably like I'd say late 1800s, post-Civil War, probably like 1880, 1890 sort of era.
Yeah. So then these guys they can hear this wailing, which is like this ominous sound of like, what the fuck is that? And then they're firing those little musket guns, fucking like
revolvers,
but they produce that massive cloud of smoke.
Yeah, gunpowder.
Yeah. Thank you. Fact checking me. Revolver.
Just not a weapon who's never used a weapon.
And
I told you I could beat you in an arm wrestle.
I know these guns.
I know more about guns than you. Fuck you.
And then they go, he like fires a warning shot and he's like, whoever's out there, we've got guns. Leave us alone and we won't have to kill you. And then he just cops a fucking arrow to the neck.
Yep. That's right. The first sign of gore just.
He can't see. He's just talking to bush.
Yep.
And he just cops a fucking arrow in the neck.
And I mean, what did they expect? They're standing right in the middle. Like, I'm surprised they didn't, but there's this awesome shot where it looks down, like almost like a bird's eye view, but on an angle, and it looks at them standing in like a massive like open clearing because they're running through brush, and they get to this clearing and they don't realize that they're standing like in like a pentagram almost of
So
just
Game of
rocks.
Thronesy.
Yeah,
it's the exact same opening as Game of Thrones. When
Very
you, like,
much.
zoom out and there's like almost a crop field, but just of stones.
Yep.
And like some sort of fucking scary design.
It's very eerie. There's just you can tell there's some weird voodoo stuff going on.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, this is the enemy we're dealing with.
Yeah. So old mate cops an arrow, and then so one of them dies, and then his mate just leaves him. He's like,
Beelines
holy
it.
fuck, runs away, and then we see our enemy, a troglodyte, appears from the bush, and just this big, scary, fucking caveman looking thing,
Covered in white paint.
Yeah, like
Uruk-hai.
yeah, like Uruk-hai. Yeah, like Uruk-hai.
It's Game of Thrones meets Lord of the Rings,
Lord of the Rings.
with
He's a Western.
meets Clint Eastwood. Yeah.
Peter Jackson did a great job on this one. And then he just, how does he kill him? Does he just fucking?
He doesn't.
Oh, okay. We don't see it.
No, because the one dude dies, and then the other dude beelines it into the town of Brighthope.
Yeah.
Which is an ironic name for the movie because there's nothing bright, there's no hope in the movie.
Yeah. And
Very bleak.
Enter Brighthope.
Yeah. So we come into the town of Brighthope, and the bandit busy hides all of his shit that he just stole, panicking, goes into the saloon. Enter Patrick Wilson.
Yeah, So he comes in and enter Patrick Wilson in the bed?
In the bed. So he's on the couch,
He's
actually.
on the couch. Yeah, so he's Paddy Wilson, like moral, what's the word? Like compass of the film, I guess.
Yeah.
Like just good guy, loves his missus.
He's the protagonist.
Yeah, he's sitting there with his legs all fucked up because he's just been working too hard on the roof. And
Snapped his tibia.
yeah, his missus told him to not work on the roof, and he's like, I got it, darling. Don't you worry about me.
Shouldn't have told you to work on the roof in the storm.
Yeah. She's like, I told you, you're going to fall off. So, but of course, it's his work ethic, man.
Yeah.
Paddy Wilson's work ethic.
Really set up that relationship of just like, yeah, I love my wife. You take good care of me.
Yeah. Yeah, the sweetest old Western couple you could find.
Yeah.
And she's just caring for him, and his leg's all fucked up. What happens next?
What happens next is that it cuts to Soup Sheriff. Kurt Russell, the sheriff, is making soup in his the police station, or in his house, I should say.
Yeah.
And in comes the deputy, Richard Jenkins.
Yeah.
And he's just like, Sheriff, I got something. Oh God, it smells awful in here.
And you don't even... He comes across as just a crazy old man who's like flown in off the street.
Yeah.
You don't find out until a little bit later on that he's the assistant deputy sheriff.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, how are you still working? And like he's just like incompetent to the nth degree.
Literally, listen to that voice.
Yeah.
It's basically Joe Biden on a horse.
Yeah.
Like he's just this old senile dude who's clearly got a little bit of Swiss cheese for brain.
Yeah, and his intro is him to come in and go, oh, Sheriff, I'm a bit hungry. It's cold out there. It smells like corn in here.
Yep.
It's like,
it's
no,
corn.
No, he goes, that tea smells funny.
Yep. And he's like, it's soup. He's like, oh, do you think I could have some?
Yeah. Shit out. And then goat Kurt Russell, best head of hair beard combo I've ever fucking seen.
Yep.
Like, probably the iconic hair beard duo.
Gorgeous man.
Looking good as ever.
Yep.
Just he's like, sit down, I'll pour you a cup.
Yep. So the deputy actually comes in wanting to tell him something and then just gets completely swept away by, what food?
Corn chowder.
Yeah, righto, mate.
He pours it out. It looks fucking awful.
No spoon, so don't fucking burn your mouth on it.
Yeah.
And then what does the old man do? Burns his mouth.
Burns his mouth. It literally, like, he's like a fucking baby. He's like, I don't have a spoon. You'll burn your mouth on it. You fucking moron.
Yep.
Takes a sip. It's hot. I told you, dude.
What was the one thing I said to you, you old fuck?
But Kurt just placates him and kind of looks after him the whole film. He never gets impatient or frustrated by his idiocracy.
No, we said the metaphor plenty of times. It's like the teacher dealing with like the teacher's pet who's always just like, "Sir, I've got something to tell you. Richard has lollies in his desk." It's like, okay, thanks, Johnny. I appreciate that. Go back to your desk. I'll sort it out. But sir, sit down. It's very calm throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, he's very patient with him.
Yeah, they've got some very strong archetypes. So the four characters, obviously, we've gone over 3 of them now. You've got the bumbling old senile man, who's just there for a bit of comedic effect.
The fool.
Yeah, the fool, the vanguard, I guess, like the knight on the shining horse, which is Kurt Russell. Yeah. Just stoic, really cool, calm and collected, intelligent man.
Keeps everything together.
Yep.
Make sure the team isn't falling apart.
Yep.
You've got Patrick Wilson, the
hot-headed,
brave, like he's like the courage.
Yep. He's got to compensate for being on a crutch the entire movie.
Yeah. And then we haven't got to him yet, and then there's Matthew Fox, who we'll get to as well.
Yep. So cut back to the saloon, and the bandits in there, and Matthew Fox just walks in this nice fucking tailored white suit. Mr. Bruder.
Yeah, Bruder. Best role Matthew Fox has ever done, easily.
Excellent role.
Such a good character.
Yeah.
Bruder's pristine white suit, white top hat, goes in and asks for a song from the old man who's just asleep on the piano.
On the piano.
The piano. And then such a good little bit. He's like, got a sign up that says, a nickel for a song.
Yeah,
he's like
3 cents for 1, 10 cents for 3.
Gives him a nickel, and he's like
a dime,
sorry. Gives him a dime, and he's like, all right, I'll play a song. And then the old man who's on the piano flips the card over, and it says starting fee, 1 drink.
Yeah, 1 whiskey.
1 whiskey. He's like, get the man a fucking whiskey as well.
All right.
Yeah, you got me.
And then so the whole point of the deputy coming into Kurt Russell's office to begin with was to tell him he saw some suspicious activity. He was out on a midnight survey or a stroll or gallop on his horse, and he sees the bandit hiding all of his stuff and then going into I can't remember what the saloon's called. It's called like the something snake or
I can't remember. The drunken snake.
Yeah, it's something like that. Just a shitty old saloon.
Yeah.
And he's like, we best get over there. He had some. It's the official opinion of the assistant deputy that he was doing suspicious behavior.
Yeah. This old man just flexing his shitty title around the whole film. It's the official opinion of the sheriff deputy that I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
What was I saying? I spent all my brain power saying it's the official duty of the assistant deputy that I forgot that I'm the official doing the official duties of the assistant deputy.
I've put all of my brain power into saying 2-3 syllable words.
Kurt's like, just burn your mouth, man. I don't give a shit anymore.
You can come along, I guess.
Yep. So they go into the saloon. They start interrogating the bandit. The bandit doesn't like it. He says, what does he say? So he's just like, sheriff starts intimidating or interrogating the bandit, and he's like, what's your name? He's like, buddy. And he's like, took you a little while to think of that name, What are you doing here? So he's like, it's a free country, I can do what I want. And he's just like, it doesn't seem very friendly for a guy named Buddy. And he's like, the bandit says, you've been squirting lemon juice in my ass since you walked in. Just like the writing, and it's so good.
These old Wild West metaphors and fucking
anecdotes.
Yeah, just the language they use. We squirt lemon juice in my eye.
Yeah,
but what, bro?
You know exactly what it means. Just like giving him the evil eye and just giving him just like the don't know the term for it, but just giving him the red hot interrogation treatment.
Zala comes out with a bunch of those like just weird, like you hear what they're saying, you know what he means, but it's like that's a fucking weird way to say it.
Yeah.
There's a moment in Dragged Across Concrete, which I don't want to get too off track, but he's one cop says to another cop, he's telling him to make a gun, like to put a sniper together. Mm-hmm. And instead of just saying, hey, can you make that sniper? He goes, I got a construction job for you.
And it fits like
it's like, okay, just tell me to build the gun, bro.
It fits like the Metro cop, like dark and dingy language so well. It's like, hey, I got a construction job for you.
Yeah.
And this fits the look.
You know, every cop in the audience is like, we don't fucking talk like that.
Yeah.
That's not how it goes.
Not everyone's from Jersey, man. Like,
and then he has one more once he's made the gun. The cop is like holding it up too much in the car, and he's like, hey, that thing's going to get a cold. and he means put it away.
Yeah.
It's like, stop talking in metaphors, bro. Just tell me to.
This is way too cryptic.
All right, Yoda. Just tell me what you want.
Can we have one set
Build
of...
the gun, put the gun down.
It's like you need like a Shakespeare interpretation he has in all his books. Like you've got the subtitles on one side saying what they're saying and saying what they mean.
Yeah.
Put the fucking gun away.
Zala's own fucking bibliography.
Oh, it's gonna get a fucking cold.
Huh?
Give that thing a cold before it catches a sneeze.
It's like, talk to me in English, bro.
And they do the exact same thing in this. There's a lot of little witty one-liners, similar to what Tarantino does, where like the best thing is like the dialogue, and it really sets up who the characters are, but just by how they talk.
Yeah. It's just finding interesting ways for people to say arbitrary things.
Yeah.
Like, it is cooler to say that thing's gonna catch a cold than put the gun away.
Yeah.
But it's also a bit like, oh, I'm watching a movie.
Yeah, exactly.
No one talks like that in real life.
Yeah, it's very much, instead of just like, I'm going to the shops, it's like, yeah, I'm going to stretch my legs.
Yeah, but something even more obscure.
Yeah, that's the best thing my hungover brain can think of right now.
The world's gonna get me in it. It's like, what? Oh, I'm just getting a bag of chips.
I'm turning the vacancy sign on. What? I'm leaving my room. Hey!
I'm gonna go flap my lips. What? I'm recording a podcast.
I'm going to put my brain into overtime.
Yep.
But so the bandit realizes he's in deep trouble here with the sheriff, so he tries to make a run for it, and Kurt shoots him in the leg, pop, immobilizes him. He bangs his head, so he knocks himself out, gets carried back to the jailhouse, and then they're like, oh, we probably need someone to take the bullet out of his leg before he gets an infection.
Yeah.
They ask for the doctor, but the doctor's lost in his cup, which is saying that he's getting way too drunk.
So good.
So the doctor's an alcoholic, so they have to get the nurse, who is Patrick Wilson's wife, his beau, where they set up the relationship between those two at the start.
And to sweetheart Patty Wilson's wife.
Yeah. So Bruder comes over, slick Matthew Fox, who like gives her the look. He's like, we know each other,
darling. We got history. And Patty Wilson's just he's just straggled up in bed, like he can't. He's elevated his foot, and his nurse wife has sorted him out. She's taking care of him.
Yeah.
Bruder's like, we need you to take a bullet out of this guy's leg, and Matthew Fox is just yelling at Bruder from the bed. He's like, Bruder, if you make any advances on my wife,
I'm gonna come for you.
Yeah, and he's like, I'll behave, cowboy.
Yeah, okay, cowboy.
Yeah. So what's her name? Is it? Do you remember Patrick Wilson's wife's name?
No, I don't.
Doesn't matter. So she goes down to the I guess you'd call it the cop shop. Does surgery on the guy who's knocked out. She gives him some like hectic opium. It's very gory. She's pulling a bullet out of his leg.
Yeah.
Yeah, what happens next?
So
I'll let you steer. Bro.
Basically, the sheriff's there with the assistant deputy, and there's a hot-headed young deputy there as well, who's flinging out smart mouth remarks as well.
Yeah.
Sheriff is playing checkers with the assistant deputy. Yeah. The nurse gets there, and then like the young deputy's like shooting off his mouth. He's like, I wonder what do we got here?
What are this broad's gonna do?
And then the sheriff's just like, all right, well, I'm gonna go. Young deputy, you can stay here. Assistant deputy, go get some sleep. He's like, oh, it's fine. I'm happy to stay. I only sleep about 3 hours a night anyway. He's like, no, I'm going to make the young dude do it for being such a smart ass.
Yeah.
He's like, what?
You need sleep, Jenkins. You're an old man. Your brain's barely firing.
Yeah. You need whatever rest you can get. And then to exemplify that, as they're walking out, like, Kurt Russell's like beating Jenkins in checkers, and he walks past and he's like, oh, I was actually winning. He's like, you're looking at the wrong side of the board, old man. Yeah, that's his name in the movie, Old Man.
Old Man. Yeah. I think it actually is. Is that his credited name?
No,
it's like
Chikaro, I think his name is.
Yeah, he's just got his checkers backwards.
Yeah. Check yourself, mate.
Check yourself, dick.
Oh, it cuts to the stables.
Yeah. There's a young guy who's being killed.
Stable boy goes into the stable. He can hear the horses like little bit G'd up, and he goes in there, just gets absolutely fucked.
Obliterated. You don't really see. Oh, no, you see it go into his head, don't you? Doesn't he get fucking bone tomahawked in the head?
Yeah. Cue the first time they use it.
Yeah.
They actually use a BT.
The titular weapon.
Yeah. And like I said it before at the start, like the score is just, it's bone shattering, like, or like ear shattering, I should say, because it's just so visceral, the sounds they use.
Yeah, it's fucking, a bone tomahawk is what it sounds like. They've made like a fucking tomahawk out of just, it's like this elephant white bone.
Yeah.
So just fucking.
A sharpened piece of like something from a buffalo, like a giant thigh bone that they've sharpened down.
Yeah, just crunches into this stable boy's head. So he gets yeeted. Yeah. Oh.
Not bad.
That's good. Got a Foley artist in here.
It's not all farts, mate. And they go, I think they see all the horses that have gone, so they're just like, oh, we better go check out what's happened at the sheriff's state or the police station.
Yeah.
They go back, it's empty, it's gone. The only thing that's in there is an arrow in the wall.
Yeah. Yeah. So they pull that off the wall and go, Indians.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh shit.
Yeah.
So they tell Patrick Wilson, he's like, tell me straight, Sheriff, what's happened? Like he sees the sheriff coming into his house. He's like, you better sit down. He's like, you fucking tell me what's happened.
Patrick hobbles out the front.
My nurse wife has been out all night operating on your bandit. You better tell me what's happened.
Yeah.
Tells them they've been kidnapped. So they're like, all right, we better go find them.
So,
and of course,
so the young cop and his wife have been kidnapped from the cop shop.
the young deputy, the bandit, and the nurse. So the three of them have been kidnapped. So they go to the saloon to formulate a plan to try and rescue them. And obviously there's no stopping Patrick Wilson because it's his wife involved, even though he's literally like his shin bone is in two pieces,
sticking out of his leg.
Yep, literally sticking out of his leg.
Yeah.
So the Indians attack, or the troglodytes attack, and then they get like the local professor who's a Native American to come in, and he's just like, yeah, you're dealing with. He looks at like the arrow. He's like, you're dealing with like. You think my people are savages. You're dealing with some real savages here. These people rape and eat their own mothers.
Yeah. He's like, okay, come with us then. You know more about them. And he's like,
nope.
They're like, why not? He's like, because I like being alive.
Yeah.
It's like, so the guy who knows about them is like, you're all idiots and you're going to get yourself killed. And the people who have been kidnapped are probably already dead.
Mr. and Mrs. O'Dwyer. Sorry, I just remembered what the names of
O'Dwyer.
The O'Dwyers.
Yeah.
That's Patrick Wilson and his nurse wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like, dude, find yourself a new wife, get yourself a new deputy. Bandit we didn't really care about because you do not want to go after these twisted savages.
Yeah. So there's no stopping Patty. So they formulate a team. So Kurt Russell tries to stop Richard Jenkins from going. He's like, Richard, I need you to stay here and look after the town. And he's like, nope, I'm fucking coming.
No, it's the official duty of the assistant deputy that I need to support you.
Yeah, he's like, all right, old man, you can come.
Mm-hmm.
And then Bruder, I mean, redeeming character trait for him. He's not a total slimeball. He's like, nope, I'm coming. I'm the reason that she got taken. Like, I'm involved here. I owe it to you.
Yeah, I took Mrs. O'Dwyer out of your house and put her on this duty, and she got kidnapped on my watch, essentially.
Yeah, so he's like, I feel responsible. I'm coming. And then they're all like, okay. So they grab their horses and they...
And so the four of us, the fellowship of the troglodytes.
Yeah, let's go fucking kill some cannibals, dog.
And so they set off.
And then they're off.
They're off. And I'd probably say like the second act of the movie is them traveling for a period of time.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say not a lot happens. It's like, for a big chunk, a lot of it is them traveling, but it's not The Revenant where it's just music and just scenic shots. There's stuff that happens like they get their horses stolen by Mexican bandits.
Yeah.
Banditos.
Yeah, Bruder has to... It's basically like that whole middle chunk of them traveling is just more character building of all these guys and just building the dynamic between Kurt, Richard, and Matthew Fox and Patrick Wilson and just learning more about them pretty much. We don't go back to the town at all and we don't see where the kidnapped have gone at all. It's just with these four guys.
Bright Hope is a faint image, and now it's on to, I can't remember what he called it, but it's like the Valley of the Dead Wind or something like something very just ominous.
So I think the biggest significant moment of call it the travel chunk of the film is Bruder. They get robbed at night by some Mexicans, and Bruder they get their horses, so they get their horses stolen. Bruder's got this beautiful white horse the whole film, and he's like obviously very proud of it. And he goes, they took whatever the horse's name was, Sandra.
Saucy.
Saucy. Is it actually?
I think it's named Saucy.
Okay. He's like, oh, they took Saucy. That's weird. I've trained her not to go with anyone but me. Like she doesn't ride unless I'm on it.
She's smart and she's resilient.
Yeah, she's loyal. And then one of them's like, well, it looks like she did what you told her. And then you just see Saucy on the ground, and Bruder has to go over and fucking
Just in pain, just names close to the twilight.
yeah. So Saucy's been clipped in like the neck or something, and just slowly bleeding out. So Bruder has to go over and just revolver his prize horse in the fucking head.
You can see it breaks his heart as well.
Yeah.
Like for the smarmy rich guy, just like, yeah, I've killed more Indians than all of you put together.
Yeah.
Like he's very much the gunslinging, handsome,
Braggadocious.
yeah, braggadocious, douche.
Yeah. And he's like, this is the only moment that he really shows any well, there are ones later, but this is the first time you see some emotional vulnerability from him. Just like, holy fuck.
More than him just like taking shots at O'Dwyer like, hey, I could have fucked your wife.
Yeah. And like, I'm the smartest guy here.
Yep.
That's his biggest like brag, because I think Richard Jenkins is like, no, yeah, that's a really good moment. Matthew Fox is setting up like a tripwire and just like schooling all of the boys,
Putting bells around the camp, so like a perimeter.
yeah, and he's just talking shit to Kurt Russell, and Richard Jenkins gets hot under the collar and he's like, and Kurt goes, leave it, dick, it's fine.
no.
And he's like, hey, no, that's no way to talk to a sheriff deputy. And he's like, the pride and the badges just overwhelmed him.
Yeah.
And yeah, then Matthew Fox
We
is
are the
like,
law.
Yeah, he's like, we are the law. You can't talk to us like that. Matthew Fox just like, I'm smarter than all of you. I don't give a fuck. I can do what I want.
Yeah. He's like,
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
It's like, yep, I'm smarter and I'm faster. I'm the fastest to draw my gun in this situation as well.
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because there's an awesome part later that night where old man Rivers just fucking like talking to Kurt Russell about he's like,
Hey, have you ever tried to read a book in a bath?
Yeah.
and he's like,
that's right.
what? Like, yeah.
It's a real sleepover moment where just like, it's like almost like pillow talk.
Yep.
Between very handsome straight men.
Yep.
They're just lying there in the 11th hour, just hat on head, having this conversation.
Yeah, and Kurt's like, why do you ask? He's like,
Oh, I hear about people. You know, it's such a nice time. It's very soothing being in a bath, but it gets boring staring at your toes.
Yeah. I like to read a book.
I like to read a book, but my hands get wet and the pages get wet. I end up dropping the book in the bath.
just like all the dialogue is just setting up, I'm an idiot, I'm an old man.
Bumbling old man.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he's like, and Kurt Russell's like, well, why don't you get a music stand? You can put it up on there, keep a towel beside you so you can dry your fingers anytime you turn your page. He's like,
That's a brilliant idea. Why didn't I think of that?
and
The first thing I do when I get back is getting one of those music stands.
he's like,
Bet Bruder couldn't think of that.
and then just like, as soon as he says that, you just see Brutus sit up, just bang, like, because the tripwire gets set off.
Yeah.
It's a wolf and he shoots it.
Yeah. Yeah. Jenkins has like a moment of like, oh, that Bruder's so fucking dumb. We're so clever. And then Bruder just again instantly answers it with just like, nope, I'm better than all of you.
You guys are busy talking about how to fucking read a book in a bath, just like real first world problem stuff. And I'm out here making sure we don't get our face mauled off by a wolf.
But again, it's such a sweet dynamic between Kurt and Jenkins, because Kurt's never like, just shut up, old man. I'm trying to go to sleep.
Yeah.
He placates him and he's like,
Humors him.
yeah,
Yep.
humors him. Yeah. He's like, all right, well, maybe let's solve the problem together. Yeah, you can get a music stand. He's like using an iota of his own brain power to think of this solution, but he's like, here you go, old man.
Oh my God, you're Jesus Christ reincarnate.
Kurt Russell, you're amazing.
Yeah.
You're the sheriff.
Just would actually suck. It would suck a sheriff's dick if he asked him to.
You are the law. What's it we were saying? Matthew Fox's character, Bruder, it's like Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, everything he says, he's like Schrute Shapiro.
Yeah, Dwight Schrute Shapiro.
Schrute Shapiro, yeah, because everything he says, if someone's just like,
Hey, you're not the law. You need to listen to the sheriff.
he's like, false. I am the smartest one here. I am fastest to quick to draw my gun.
Yeah, dude. I'm not even gonna jump on it. That's perfect.
Just everything he says is just like, I will debunk what you say, old man, because your teeth are falling out of your head, and I will keep us all alive if you just shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I am the smartest man here, and Bruder, I will behave myself, cowboy. But
He's definitely just like little Mr. Know-it-all.
yeah, he's very like. There's an air of like autism about Matthew Fox in this, where he's just like, I don't give a fuck. I am smarter, I am faster, and I am better than all of you.
It's Patrick Bateman like, where it's like he's clearly like really narcissistic sociopath.
Yeah.
Where he's like, I'm better than all of you. I'm
Yeah.
doing this because it's just basically whatever honor that I have.
Yeah. He's so unlikable. Like Kurt Russell is like he's like a leader because people like him. Matthew Fox is probably smarter and better than him at most things.
Yeah.
But he could never have people on his side because he's so fucking unlikable.
He's a mercenary.
much like Sir Ben Shapiro.
Yeah.
Very similar. Shapiro.
And Kurt has a real problem with him when he shoots the Mexicans. These Mexican people come up and they're just like, "Hey, we're just out here. We're sorry. We didn't mean to intrude on your camp." It's like, you're a stranger approaching us in the night. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
And then like Brutus shoots them while
he's like, throw your guns down. They completely, wave the white flag. They're like, we're not here to harm you. And then
Brutus shoots both of them, and Kurt Russell's like, "You fucking! I was going to interrogate them.
Yeah.
Why'd you shoot them?" And he's like, "If you're gonna question my morals, let's do it later. Those guys were gonna steal our horses.
Yeah.
If you're gonna question my morals, do it later." And then Kurt Russell just like sharp as ever, just like walks up. He's like, "What morals?
yeah, there's none to question.
There's none to question here."
And
then
Matt
later,
Fox is not affected. It was like, "Oh, I killed 2 Mexicans.
well, I see we're all alive here, and they are dead. So you are welcome.
Problem solved. Thank me later."
And then, sure enough, later that night, horses get stolen. And then Patrick Wilson, he's like, after like a day of walking, he like sits down to inspect his leg. He rolls it up and he's like taking off his boot is just like the most excruciating thing. Just picture snapping your leg and then trying to get off like a skin tight boot and rolling up your jeans just to see this wound. And then he's just like going, "God damn. And then like he's swearing throughout the movie, but it's damn.
Yeah.
And then like after he like comes in, he's just like, looks up and he's like, "I'm sorry." Just like saying sorry for using taking the Lord's name in vain.
Such a good Christian boy.
He does it multiple times as well, where he loses his cool, and then like once he's like diffused, he's like, "I'm sorry, y'all."
Yeah. He like blows up at Jenkins for something at some point. I can't remember. And then afterwards, just like, "Oh man, I'm sorry for cursing you. I shouldn't have yelled at you."
Yeah, they're basically like, your leg's fucked. You can't go any further. And he like pushes him. He's like, "No, this is my wife. I'm going." And then Kurt's like, "All right." And then he's like, okay. Old man, I'm real sorry for pushing you before. I'm sorry for losing my temper at you. I really love you guys.
Such a good dude. He has like every right to be angry at God, who's dealt him the shittest hand of a kidnapped wife and a broken leg.
Yeah.
And then even just saying, "Oh, damn, just pulling his boot off, he still has to be like, "Master, I'm sorry."
Yeah, like
sorry I said damn.
literally just like it doesn't like pretty much she lives by the code. Everything happens for a reason. They say at the start of the movie that he's just gotten on the job as like a foreman, which is like for construction guys, that's big money. It's an opportunity that you don't want to miss. And that's when he snapped his leg. He snapped it when he was not on the job, but when he just got the new job.
Yeah.
Snaps his leg after getting a new job. That goes kaput. He's out for 12 weeks. His wife gets kidnapped. He's got to go save her by 1 foot and a crutch, and just has to go save them off the most heinous people that civilization has ever known to that point.
By all means, he could be upset at the big guy upstairs if he wanted to.
Absolutely, yeah. But all the time he's just like kissing that Jesus piece, just like prayers up.
Whatever you got in store for me, dog. I'm sure this is all part of it.
And we said it before, but spoiler alert, it does.
You mean it all works out well?
It works out for him.
Works out for him in the end, yes.
Yeah.
Which we'll get to.
We will get to. So
should we cut to just when they get to the fucking cave, when they get their troglodytes?
Yeah, pretty much. There's just a couple of other things that I wrote down. Another Jenkins line, which is just another example of Zala's writing. I can't remember exactly what the context was, but he's like, "Oh yeah, they've just been traveling for so long," and he's just like,
"Oh, it's about 9, but it feels like next week."
Yeah. I'm tired.
Yeah. It feels late, but it's not.
Yeah. Feels late, but it's 9, but it feels later.
Yep.
All right, old man.
And then, so they keep tracking, and at this point they're like, "Look, Patrick Wilson, if you want to come with us, like you can travel. We'll let you travel a bit ahead of us, but we're probably going to overtake you, and then we'll set up camp for you so you can sleep for a few hours."
Yeah.
They basically do this back and forth. They get to the caves, and then that's when it all kicks off.
Yeah. Just before we get to the cave, there's only one other thing I want to mention.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Is when Wilson truly fucks his leg up. after he's been hobbling around on it without the horse for a long time.
Of course, yeah.
They find each other. Patrick Wilson catches up to the other guys, and he's...
Do you remember how he fucks it up?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. So Matthew Fox makes some smart-ass remark. What does he say to him?
Oh, he says something about he's like, I had the opportunity, like, you know that, oh yeah, he's like, for once, can you not stop making these snide remarks about my wife? Like, that's my wife. He's like, I think I've earned a couple of smart remarks by coming on this trip with you. Yeah. Plus, I nearly dated her back in the day. Yeah. And Patrick Wilson just turns around and just clocks him.
He does not like it, but in the process of clocking him, he just crunches his fucking leg.
Yep.
He just like snaps his leg.
Shin bone sticks out again.
And it's like, oh, bros, you could have just left it, but the love you have for your wife just blinded you.
Yeah, your temper's just off the chain.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, so Matt, at least he gets a shot on old Bruder.
Yep.
But then, yeah, he basically gets laid down. He's like, oh, my fucking leg is cooked. Kurt's like, we're going to have to take your leg. Gangrene's going to set in.
Yep. Throughout like, the whole thing, they're like, are we going to have to amputate this thing? And Jenkins is like, he like served in the war. And he's like, and Kurt Russell's like, should we amputate? He's like, if we amputate it, like, there's a slim chance that it's actually going to be, infection doesn't set in. And even then, like, I doubt he's going to live.
Yeah. So he leaves him with his leg.
Yeah.
Well, Paddy wakes up after they're gone. He looks down. He's like, oh, thank God.
So they set it for him. They give him some opium. They're just like, all right, just take a little bit. And then like, as soon as he's about to set the leg, he has the hammer. He's like raising it, throws it down, and then it just cuts to like Valley.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause they steady it.
They set it.
So it's basically just crunching the bone back into my medical degree.
Yeah.
But like instead of amputating, you just fucking put the bone back in its place.
So the bone's sticking out of the skin and it's just like to snap it back into place how a shin bone kind of should look.
Yeah. And through that whole exchange, Kurt throws because Paddy wants to rage on and keep going. Kurt throws his cane away and he's like, no, you bastard. You're not taking my leg. Like the highest stakes ever. Dick Jenkins is saying he's going to amputate his fucking leg. He's like, no. And then everything calms down. And again, Paddy's like, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have yelled at you guys.
I love you guys. Thanks for coming on this journey with me.
I just wanted my leg. I'm sorry for yelling at you. You didn't deserve that.
Fair enough. I'd be blowing up. It was like, fuck you. Take your own leg.
Sheriff, you're just doing your job. I'm real sorry.
I don't know if I'd be that apologetic afterwards, but that's just the nice guy that Paddy is.
He's good. Heart of gold.
Mr. O'Dwyer. And so they leave him there, they venture back onto the cave. Mr. O'Dwyer's just like there, like just in like a basically just a coma.
Yeah.
Just recovering from his
induced coma.
Yeah, just like recovering. They come across the cave, and then it all kicks off. So
now we've got the stage is set. We've got Kurt Russell, Dick Jenkins, and
Bruder.
Matthew Fox.
Yeah.
And they've found the cave and they've heard these wails, which are the same wails that we heard at the start of the film.
Yeah, you hear them at the start of the film. You hear them the night that the nurse, the deputy, and the bandit are kidnapped.
Yeah. So it's obviously like villain alert. We're fucking here, and we get our first real troglodyte encounter.
Yeah. So they basically just come out of nowhere. They shoot Fox, he falls over, and then I don't know if it's an arrow or like a tomahawk that's thrown, but his hand just gets chopped off.
Yeah, Fox is lying on the ground and gets his hand fucking ampoed.
Yeah.
And then he's lying there, so Matthew Fox has his kind of final moment because he realizes he's going to die.
I'm too vain to live as a cripple.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
Awesome character.
Such a good line.
He's like, well, what can we do for you? He's like, give me a cigar.
Yeah.
And then give me that repeater, and I'll make sure that you guys are okay.
Just wants to die with a stogie.
Yep.
One way to go out.
Just burning up them lungs, boy.
And then it's the saddest thing. He like Kurt gives him the stogie and then lights it for him with like the one match that he has. Takes off, and then pretty sure the fucking cigar goes out in like his final seconds.
Yep, he gets fucked up by a trog.
Yeah, it was like, man, imagine just being on your deathbed. You're like, I just want to go out smoking a cigar.
Yep.
And then it goes out and you're left alone with no lighter. Like,
no hand.
Fuck. No hands.
Yeah, it's not like he could like, Kurt leaves him with the box of matches and he's like, go on, you can. Yeah. He's like, dude, I just lost my hand. I'm not lighting another match.
How am I going to do this, bro?
Yeah. I suppose back then the matches you could flick it off a rock or something. But if he was like trying to hold it with like his elbow, like the flint box and just
Still
ignited
such
that
a
way.
cock tease, even if you didn't have lighter, even a lighter as well. You just had a what do you call it? A dead cigarette, a dead cigar.
Yeah.
A cigar that's gone out, and you're
Yes.
just left bleeding out. You'd be like, "Fuck this."
wish
Does
they-
anyone have a light?
Does anyone have a Bic? Anyone?
Let's get the troglodytes.
Trog, you light this up for me?
I know you guys are very non-developed, but have you got fire yet?
Oh yeah, we got that.
Oh, yeah, Bic. Just let me rub these stones together
Yeah,
for 8 hours.
Let me get my Zappo.
and then I'll kill you. I know we're enemies, but I know a man when he needs a cigar.
Zippo, not a Zappo. Zappo's a lolly.
Zippo. Yeah, Zappo's a grape chews.
So they, so Jenkins and Kurt Russell are the only two left.
Yeah, Maddie's gone.
Maddie's gone. O'Dwyer's still passed out a couple of leagues back.
Yeah.
And they go into the cave and they find Mrs. O'Dwyer there.
Yes. Whew. Now we're heating up. They find Mr. O'Dwyer and the smart mouth cop at the start of it.
The deputy, yeah.
Deputy,
and they're just like, "Where's the bandit?" And she's like, "They ate him."
Yeah.
She says it like way too calm, like almost like it's like you don't like. Awesome acting to say like you really don't want to know what I've been through in the past like 5 days when I've been waiting for like the rescue to come.
Yeah. She's not that grateful when they show up. The boys have like trekked across the land to save her, and then she asks them, "Where's my husband?"
And they're just like, "Oh, he's on his way." No, I think Jenkins mentions he's like, "Yeah, no, we made this trip. It was us two and Bruder and Mr. O'Dwyer." And she's like, "You brought my husband, my crippled husband."
Yeah, and they were kind of like, "Well, there's no stopping him. We tried to leave him back at the thing," and then they're like, "All right, where is he now?" And Jenkins is like, "Oh, we left a trail of stones, so he's coming right here." She's like, "Here?"
Yes.
In the fucking cave that I'm in, like entrapped with these troglodytes.
Are you joking me? Do you know what we're in for?
And they're like, "Well, we didn't know how bad it was. Sorry."
Now we do. We'll turn around. We'll disassemble those rocks.
Yeah, go back and
Just cancel the Uber.
Bruz, don't come. Party shit.
Man, I had no reception.
Dude, this party's dead, Bruz. Don't come. Literally dead.
Oh, knew I shouldn't have come out on one leg.
I had three beers already, Bruz.
I'm already legless.
I had so much opioids before.
I'm ready to party.
Pre-drinking opioids. And then we see probably the moment of the film, the most brutal death of it, when you see Bone Tomahawk and you think back on it. This is what you remember.
Yeah, so if you do end up watching it on SBS On Demand, disappointingly,
It's a bit censored.
It's a bit censored. I mean, fair enough. It's a fucking brutal movie.
Yeah.
But you really want to get your hands on like the uncut version.
Well, it's on YouTube, uncut. That
that
scene
scene
specifically. So
Yep.
watch the whole film on SBS On Demand, and then Google this scene afterwards, and you get the full experience.
Yeah, so like
on YouTube.
they pull the smart mouth deputy out basically just as like a flex on their new prisoners, because like the troglodytes come, knock out the sheriff and the assistant deputy, put them in bars.
Yeah.
Put them behind bars, I should say.
Yeah.
And then like just as like an intimidation thing, they pull out the deputy, strip him naked.
Not Kurt, the younger deputy.
Yeah, the deputy, not the sheriff.
Yeah.
The smart mouth that they kidnap at the start of the film.
Yeah.
And this whole time, like they start like the big fucking alpha Urukai troglodyte, who is just like terrifyingly has like these horns coming out of his cheeks.
Yeah.
Like they've clearly done some weird tribal like piercings.
Yeah.
And it just looks horrific.
Yeah, these tusks coming out of his fucking
Tusks, yeah.
they literally
Not
he's a
horns.
beast. Horns coming out of his mouth.
Yeah, what do they call them? You know, the big sharp teeth that come out the sides of the head.
The sides are like buffaloes. You know, the mouth horns.
You know, like a rhino, but on the side.
And probably the most brutal on-screen death I've ever seen in probably anything. That's not hyperbole.
Yeah, it's like it's hard to think of anything that can beat this. Fucking cut his scalp off with the bone tomahawk, and then at this point in time, Kurt Russell's just doing anything he can to like make him feel good or like distract his
Yeah.
mum. He's like, the cavalry's on their way. They're
Yeah.
gonna get these sons of
So
bitches.
Kurt's behind bars, just helpless, and this deputy's been brought out and knocked to his knees, and we're like, fuck, he knows he's gonna get fucked up. And the deputy just starts saying, tell my brother, or give my things to my brother
in Michigan.
And he's like, I'll do all of that. Is there anything else I can do? It's like the moment of a man who knows he's going to die, and he's like giving his final request. And he's
Yes.
like, he's actually quite calm. He's like, all right, yeah, give my things to my brother in Michigan. Tell my wife I love her. And as he's just getting his scalp fucking
Sawn
off, and Kurt's just watching helpless, gets his scalp sawn off, shoved into his mouth.
Big fucking giant like pick behind it, just shoves it right down his throat and just like impales him on it.
So like, yeah, breaks his fucking jaw, will get stabbed in the back of the throat with his own mouth, with his own head muzzling his voice.
This whole time just screaming.
The most brutal death. And then that's not it. They flip him kind of upside down and they get the bone tomahawk and just start hacking away at his nuts.
Yeah, so they pull him up by the ankle, so his his ass is in the air.
Yeah.
And he's just like doing a headstand.
The palm of his feet, the soles of his feet are facing the roof.
Yep. And then just like 3 hacks to the fucking gooch. Just like tomahawk right down the seams of your asshole. Oh god!
It just keeps hacking away, and then split like a fucking subway down the middle. Just
the two of the troglodytes. So there's 3 trogs, 1 on each ankle, and then 1 with the fucking tomahawk, and then the 2 on each ankle just pull him apart like a fucking chicken wishbone.
Yeah,
and you just
like a Mortal Kombat fatality, but in real life. Just
dude, I was literally just thinking. I saw bit off topic. I saw the new Mortal Kombat like 2 weeks ago. R18 movie, which they rarely put on movies these days. So like, if you're thinking Mortal Kombat, if you've ever played a Mortal Kombat game and you go into an R18 version of a new movie, you expect some gore.
Yeah.
Fuck. Bone Tomahawk makes this look like it's like a play school film, essentially. They should have gotten Zala to do Mortal Kombat.
Dude. This was a fatality. This was literally like I can see someone doing this to someone else in Mortal Kombat.
100%.
Split down the middle, and then like his guts, all of his innards just spill out of him onto the ground.
Oh god! And then it just cuts to just like big alpha tusk man, just like gnawing on a leg like it's like a big drumstick.
Yeah, just fucking out, and then just walks off, and Kurt's like, "Holy shit."
Yeah.
This is what we're in for. These boys are they're not fucking around.
They are not fucking around. So like straight after the scene where like Kurt's like, the cavalry's coming, we're gonna get these sons of bitches. They're gonna be sorry that they ever saw daylight.
Telling this to the guy who's getting sawn apart.
Yes. And then like after that happens, Richard Jenkins is like,
So is the cavalry really coming? Is it coming, Sheriff? He's like,
no. What are you talking about? I was just saying that just to like make him feel okay in his final moment. He's like, oh, he doesn't say it like that. He's just like, no. He's like real defeat. He's like, because it would be such a brutal thing for Kurt, because like his whole thing as a sheriff is like, I can change anything, and like being behind bars would have just like hurt him so much. It's like I've got no control in watching this young man getting literally ripped in two.
Yeah, I can't help.
And Jenkins is like, oh,
so he's he's providing the only help that he possibly can in that moment. The only power he has is his words.
Yeah.
And he's just saying whatever he can to make that brutal death a little bit better.
Just distracting him any way he can.
Yeah, just like, I know you're dying right now. I can't do anything about it, but I promise you the cavalry is coming, which is bullshit. And I'll get your things to your brother in Michigan. Also bullshit, because I'm probably not going to make it out of here either. Yeah, pretty much. Knowing himself, he's probably going to die. Yeah.
And then Jenkins' follow-up is like, is that right?
Oh, the cavalry's coming. We're going to be fine.
Yeah. And he's like, no, I was making him trying to like distract him somehow. He's like,
oh, you just always have a plan, Sheriff. I expected that to be true.
Wouldn't surprise me if you'd sent a telegram or you'd somehow got a message out to the cavalry.
I had hope.
Yeah.
He's like, I was just trying to let the man die with some hope.
Heartbreaking.
There's no cavalry coming.
But yeah, the final like anecdote or like monologue from Jenkins is like, so they go into this point where how he's like a widower or a widow.
Yeah.
Don't know which one's which. I think widow is the wife. If she's still alive, widow.
He's the widow.
He's the widow.
He's the widow if your wife has died, I think.
But okay. Yeah. But yeah, he's like
play on.
Not
sure, but doesn't matter.
Not gonna get married. Not gonna die first if I do get married. So not my problem.
I ain't dying first. If I'm getting married, I'm making her a widow.
Well, I suppose it is my problem if I don't die first, and I would be the widow.
Then you are left with the problem.
But yeah, so his like final monologue is just like the icing on the cake that is his character. He's talking about how when his wife was still alive, they went into town to see the flea circus, which never been to one. Don't really know I didn't really know what a flea circus was, but they kind of just explain it.
Yeah, well, it's like magic tricks with fleas, I guess. It's like entertainment back in the old days.
So it's them like pushing along he's like saying that,
the fleas are like pushing along little carts and they're doing backflips off buildings and putting up they're putting up construction sites and
basically like a little Lego town, but with fleas, and
obviously fake fleas.
Yeah.
And Dick's just saying, it was the most amazing, entertaining thing I'd ever seen. I didn't think fleas could do that. Sheriff, do you think they were real?
Yeah, and he's like, my wife. Yeah, he's like, it was run by these two. Just like goes off track like I am doing now, but he's just like,
it was run by these two brothers, European. Could have sworn they were twins, but one was a foot taller than the other, so they couldn't have been. Just
rambling.
Literally like if you've ever had an older, like a grandparent who's just super old and they're just rambling a story and they probably tell it to you 4 times within the hour because their brain is kaput.
Yeah,
like me right now.
Yeah, and he's just going. He kind of fields the question because we've got Kurt and him in one cage, and then opposite him you've still got Mrs. O'Dwyer in the other cage. Kind of talking to them, and he's like, I could have sworn they were real. Sheriff, do you think they were real? And then Mrs. O'Dwyer chimes in and she's like, most flea circuses use mechanical fleas, but those two that you're talking about, they actually use real fleas.
Yeah.
And he's like, I knew it. Oh, I knew they were real. I told my wife.
Yeah. Thanks for verifying that. And just like that moment of just like, I'm so fucked, and we're in this. We are literally in hell.
Yeah,
and just telling this story to distract my mind to go back to a nicer time when my wife was alive.
Yeah,
and we had the simple thing, like the simple enjoyment of going to a flea circus.
Yeah, and you get that nice moment of Mrs. O, because Kurt Russell obviously knows they're fake fleas. Kurt Russell looks at Mrs. O'Dwyer and she just gives him a little wink, and she's like, "Let the old man die with some hope."
Yeah, yeah. We've already told him the cavalry's not coming, but the flea circus, it's real, brother.
We were saying it was like just telling the kid that Santa Claus is still real.
Yeah.
And just like, I knew it. He gets so excited about it, and it's so sweet. It's like, you dumb old man.
You simple fool.
Yeah, love it.
And they somehow come up with an idea to escape. So they have a flask full of whiskey with some opium in it that they saved over from Mr. O'Dwyer. Yeah. At this point as well, Patrick's woken up. He's on his way over. Yeah. So he's slowly limping there, and they formulate this plan where they're just like going to pretend to fight over this whiskey in a flask. Big troglodyte comes over, takes it, smells it, starts sipping it, glugs a bit, gives it to another guy, sculls it. Other guy has like the 3 trogs have a little sip.
Yeah,
and then
Mrs. O'Dwyer's like, all right, one of them had enough to kill him, the other one will go into a coma, and the third one is going to be fine.
Yeah,
like judge it because she's a nurse, so she knows how much opium is going to affect them.
That's right. How do they actually they get pulled out?
Yeah, they get pulled out.
They get dragged out by Alpha Tusk.
Yeah.
And he starts just like bashing Kurt.
Yeah. He starts beating the shit out of him, cuts him open.
Yeah, so they had the flask. Once they finish it, they tossed it. There's like this fire pit in the middle of like their jail cell.
Yeah.
Highlight. So the flask is like burning up on the embers.
Yeah.
And they knock Kurt out. He's not unconscious, but he's kind of like dazed.
Fucked up. Yeah.
And then like they just get the tomahawk. Fucking put there's like a hook on the end of the tomahawk, put it into his stomach and just cut him right down there. Oh, it's so visceral. Like even in the SBS version, you see like, open him up there and then just get the flask and then shove it straight into his stomach. So it's like just the cap sticking out. So there's burning. He's just like,
yeah, it looks so fucking painful.
It looks absolutely brutal. Yep.
And obviously, old mate's big King Tusk is so pissed off because he's now seen that they've poisoned his 2 mates are dead now.
Yeah.
Or one's dead and one's in a coma. So he comes out and he's like, what the fuck did you guys do?
Yeah.
Uses the flask that killed them, his mates, to shove it into a fucking...
I'm going to eat you.
Yeah. You're mine now. And then does Paddy show up?
I think that's just at the right time Paddy shows up. So Mr. O'Dwyer shows up, bops one of them. And then at that point in time, it gives like... enough distraction for Kurt to like get up, fucking punch like the Alpha Tusk, pick up the tomahawk and just like fucking decapitate him.
That's right. Yeah, he just fucking chops the head off this cunt. And the way that Paddy got in there unscathed, he had this howling that they've been doing the whole film. They're making this terrifying noise.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, dude. This howling they've been doing, he figures out, because he gets into a bit of scuffle with another one. He ends up winning. He kills it, just bops it with his little revolver.
On his way into the cave.
And he just notices that he gets his rifle and he presses down on this dead troglodyte's stomach, and it makes this howling noise.
Like a whistle.
And you see this shot of like a little whistle in its neck.
Mm.
So what they've done is like built these bone whistles into their own throats to create their own mode of communication.
Yep.
So he cuts it out of this troglodyte. Again, brutal as fuck, just cuts it out of the esophagus.
Oh, it's a good 60-second shot of him just digging his fingers around in this guy's throat.
Pulls out this little like bone harmonica almost. And then he's like, oh, this is how they communicate. So it gives that a blow and like tests it out. And this kid comes running because he's like, oh, it's one of us.
A trog.
A trog,
Not a kid.
No, but it's a kid trog.
It's like a teenager. Yeah.
And he just bops this like 13-year-old trog. And he's like, okay.
I think he's a bit older than that.
I thought he was, okay.
He was young. He would have been like late teens, early 20s, but it's hard to identify what age they're. I think he was an adult. That's what I'm saying, but he was a young one.
Paddy doesn't kill kids.
No.
Paddy's a man of God. Even troglodyte kids. He's fucking...
No, not at all.
So that's how he kind of makes it into the cave. He uses his smart brain.
Yep.
And outsmarts him with his little bone whistle.
Brilliant move. Yeah.
So clever.
Can't believe I forgot about that.
Yeah, big shot. But so Paddy eventually comes in. Kurt's decapped the king, Alpha Tusk, and he's just now he's just up against the wall, does all of it with a burning flask sticking out of his kidney.
Open stomach.
Yeah. And he's just like up against the wall, and Jenkins has a moment with him, and he's like, Sheriff, are you? And it's fucking heartbreaking. He's like, are you gonna be okay? He's like, no, I'm probably going to die, Dick.
Yeah.
Probably going to die. So he leaves him there with a rifle and like a couple of bullets.
With a repeater, and does he just give him the gun? Yeah.
Gives him like 2 or 3 bullets, and then Paddy has a moment with his wife, gets her out, gets Dick out, and Sheriff's like, Dick, I need you to escort Mr. and Mrs. O'Dwyer back to camp.
But Sheriff...
Just do what I say, please.
Do what I say, yeah. And he's like, in reality, Dick's not escorting anyone. He's like the fucking...
He's following them.
Yeah, the dead weight
stray dog.
Patrick Wilson's done all this courageous shit. He still just gives Dick Jenkins this like idea that he's helping.
Yeah.
So they make it out of there alive. And then you just hear as they're walking off, I think almost the final shot of the film, you just hear pop, pop, pop. Like 3 gunshots from the cave.
Because they like counted up. They're like, how many are there? There's 12. All right, we've killed 3 on the way in.
Yeah.
And then they end up killing 6, so there's 3 to go.
Yeah.
And then they're like, old man Jenkins, his last interaction with Kurt Russell is he's like,
oh, Sheriff, I just want to say it's been...
And he's like, just go. Like, I really don't want to hear this goodbye.
Yeah.
Like, we're both going to cry if we do. So just go. He's like, all right, say no more. Picks up a rock to set, like, old man Jenkins, like, out of bullets, I've just got a rock. So how the fucking... frail old me, I got to kill 3 more of these brutal Urukai.
Yeah.
And then like you hear the repeater go off in the distance up in the cave. Yeah. And he's just like,
okay.
Yeah.
And then like drops the rock, just like saying, all right, pack her up, boys.
Yeah, pack her up.
Tools down.
All the trogs are dead. Sheriff is gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go home.
Yeah.
Drops the rock.
Oh, and then it's such a bleak movie. It's a dark movie, but there's this cathartic feeling of like, well, at least there's something. Yeah. There's like a happily ever after for someone. I mean, they'll probably have trauma for the rest of their lives.
Oh, insane. But fucking good stories for a campfire.
Dude.
Fuck.
So that's Bone Tomahawk.
Yeah. So that's Bone Tomahawk. Your final shot is just Dick dropping that rock and going, it's all fine now.
Yep.
Credits.
So what would you rate Bone Tomahawk, Tomo?
Well, right after we watched it, I was like, that's a fucking 10 out of 10. And I think I'm going to stand by it. It's so fucking good. I'm going to give Bone Tomahawk 10 Bone Tomahawks out of 10.
Nice. Yep. I'm going to give Bone Tomahawk, I think 10 out of 10 is pretty damn close. I'm going to give it 9.8 throat whistles out of 10. The point 2 I can't give it a flawless one just because I just want Kurt Russell to live.
Yeah.
That's the subjectiveness in me just going, can you not kill the main character of the film?
Yeah, I feel that. But I think
He had to die.
He had to die.
Yeah.
But I know it's just that it would be so nice to see him make it out.
But as a movie,
Zala doesn't give you that though.
No, not at all. It's a Craig Zala movie. So
Yeah.
there's got to be some sort of like trade-off at the end. If you want someone to live, someone's got to die.
Yeah. It's got mad rewatch value as well.
100%.
What we were saying, like, I think it's almost better the second time through, and like obviously go and watch it for yourself without knowing anything. But I can say that maybe upon the first time watching it, you'd think it's a bit slow.
Yeah.
When they're traveling around.
The pacing of it.
And when they're kind of on the trek.
With no music as well.
With no music, yeah, it is a bit slow, but it's because you don't know what is coming. When you know what they're fucking up against and you know what's coming at the end of it, it's almost like, all right, this is just a slow burn until it gets there.
100%. Yeah.
So I guess my advice would just be stick with it. If you haven't watched it already and you've listened to this, like you know everything that happens now.
Yeah. But it's still worth a watch.
But it is a slow burn, but it's just it's well worth the wait. It pays off.
2-hour 10 runtime, and I think we just looked at each other like when they actually reach the cave, and there's about, at this point it's probably like hour 30 in, so there's like 40 minutes to go.
Yeah.
And it's just like, where did that time go? That was so quick. Like,
yeah, it flies by.
If you made it this far on this episode of OTAT, thank you so much for joining us. It has been a bit of a long burner, not a whole lot of yucks in it, but we really...
This was one for us. One for you guys, one for us. If you don't listen, we understand.
Absolutely, yeah. We really enjoyed it. Give us a like on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, and follow us on Instagram, and we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.